What's going on, guys? Zuko back with another Dragonflight video. I hope you're all doing really well. Grab your coffee. Let's jump into this video. I want to talk today. Actually, first of all, listen to this. Listen to these game sounds. The world's kind of just waking up. It's like the morning. It was really dark a minute ago, and you can hear all the... It's like actual like chirping, like in real life. This is so cool, man. Is there anything Dragonflight can't do? Anyway, we're talking today about Algeth'ar Academy. And I'm going to jump into footage of the dungeon very quickly here. But this is the dungeon we're talking about. I'm going to walk you through each boss and how you're going to kill it. And how you can contribute to the team as a Shadow Priest. So, number one, if some of you guys have been struggling, I've seen some of you guys say I'm struggling with single target damage. I don't know how to get as high as, as high as you're getting, that kind of stuff. Then I'm going to help you figure that out on these boss fights. Also, how do you maintain damage while mechanics are coming out in Algeth'ar Academy, and what specifically in Algeth'ar Academy can you do as a Shadow Priest that will help your team be more successful? Things like Mass Dispel, for example, things like Fear or Silence, or we'll talk about all those things in the video footage, okay? So, the build I was running in the footage did not include Mind Melt. This is something I've been trying with right now. I've been trying builds with Mind Melt. I do not have Mind Melt in the footage. I just have Mind Spike and Surge of Darkness. Everything else is basically the same. I probably took Yogg-Saron or something, or another point into Death Speaker, or Pain and Death, sorry, but I did not have Mind Melt. Just keep that for the footage. I'll link my build in the description down below, so just stay tuned for that, okay? Okay, let's get into the dungeon here. So this first pull I want to show you actually right before we get to the tree boss, which I'll talk about the strategy and how to do the tree boss right when we get there. But this first trash bag I'm kind of opening up, and I end up doing a lot of damage, but I could have done like way, way more. And I greeded here for my positioning. Now, as a ranged player, this is very, very common. We tend to greed a lot for our positioning because you have to stand still while casting. So an important thing here to recognize, though, is that you need to sometimes just get out of dodge, just get out of there so that you can continue casting and don't get disoriented. There's a green puddle under my feet, and I can barely see it here, and I get disoriented, and I get really upset about it, and I just messed up really hard. But one thing that's really cool is that this combo still does disgusting amounts of damage. So look at my damage right now. I'm doing about 600. I've done 621k damage so far, 35k DPS. I'm about to press Shadow Word Death with Mindbender up, and it's going to do absolutely ridiculous amounts of damage. Watch this. 650k. Boom! 1.3 million. It did over 600k in one ability. Why? Because Shadow Word Death does damage. Shadow Word Death cleaves with Pain and Death as a part of my build here. Mindbender then does his AoE slash. It's so much damage, guys. It's absolutely absurd. Anyway, I totally mess it up. I duffed the combo. I could have done more damage, but I greeded way too hard for the green puddles. So don't be like me. Don't greed too hard. You need to greed just enough. Just enough greed to make sure that you're able to get your damage off. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck disoriented like me, like an idiot. Here's the tree boss. Let's talk about the tree boss. Important to understand that you need to get your dots on him first. So cast Vampiric Touch, which will put Shadow Word Pain on him with Misery. Then go Mind Games, because it's your strongest single target spell. You're going to hold your big combo, which is Dark Ascension and Mindbender. You're going to hold it for the AoE portion. Also, if you get very lucky like me and you happen to get a Mind Seer proc right there, then here's what... We're going to proc. We're going to hold it. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to hold it. You ready for this? Watch this. Remember to always group up with the tank when you're doing this pull. Here comes Shadow Crash. Mind Seer first. I should have Shadow Crashed first. That was a mistake, actually. Should have Shadow Crashed first. Why? Because my Mastery makes my dots make the enemy take more damage. So if I'd Shadow Crashed and put all my dots out, then I would have Mind Seared, then it would have done way more damage. So I have actually messed up there. But you want to hold all your AoE damage for these ads. Not to just pad the meters, but because if you don't kill these ads, this boss fight gets tremendously difficult to do. You will just lose. Next thing you need to do in the list, number 2, silence this Ancient Branch. It will stop him from doing his heal, and it will bring him into melee, which is where you want him, okay? Second Germination's coming in here. I should be closely stacked here. I'm a little bit further away. Just know you need to stack up closer. Okay, and then there's a green circle that the ad puts out, the big ad, the branch that just died. That will full heal you And it will clear any debuffs you have from the little lashers. It'll do both things. It will cleanse you and full heal you. So you need to stand in this puddle. Look at my team dying. Look at my health. Look at everybody else's health. Look at this puddle. Now I go to full health, and everybody else is very much dead. If we didn't have a really awesome Giga Chad Evoker healer, everybody would have died there. Here's my second AoE portion of the fight. I have Shadow Crash back and a big Mind Sear. Look at the big damage there. This time I was able to get Shadow Crash down first, then Mind Sear, which is going to be maximum damage. You must deal with these adds on this fight or you're completely screwed, guys. So just remember that. As a Shadow Priest, just make sure you've got Power Word Shield like ready to go all the time so you can keep moving really quickly with body and soul. It's really essential to helping you do your damage. So that's the tree boss fight. I hope that kind of helped you a little bit. Hold your AoE damage. Always hold it for when the adds come out. And then once they do, you're just going to continue your regular rotation and make sure to silence that branch minion. Okay. Number 2, this DH tank is about to go flying off the edge. One thing you can do with this mini boss is you can always outrange him as a ranged player. And as a Shadow Priest, you have way more range than he does. Make sure you use your range here to your advantage. Don't ever stop DPSing this guy. Melee people, unfortunately, get kind of screwed. Now, our tank gets blown off the edge here. I don't know how this is even possible as a DH because he's a DH. But anyway, he kind of messed up. This boss starts marching towards me. I need to just press Fade. Remember that Fade, on top of being your damage reduction spell now because of the talents in the class tree, it is also a threat removal. It removes all threat from your character. Watch this. He's moving towards me. Boom. He runs away because I press Fade. So just remember that you always have Fade in your back pocket, and if you are pulling aggro or you're about to pull aggro because you're about to do crazy AoE damage, just pre-pop Fade so that you literally have no threat and your tank can grab all kinds of threat without having to worry about you. Okay? Very important to do that. I'm going to skip ahead here. A couple things that don't really matter. Oh, this matter is actually really important here. This does matter. There's 7 stacks of Grievous on all of us. I can remove either 5 stacks, I think, or all of the stacks. I think if you're at 5 or below, it removes all of them. I should press Mass Dispel here and remove all these Grievous stacks, and I don't. I forget to do it like an idiot. But remember, as a priest, and especially as a Shadow Priest, you bring this amazing tool called Mass Dispel. Why is it so amazing? Well, as a Shadow Priest, you don't. Your mana is a resource you can spend on healing and utility, and you don't have to worry about it. The healers have to worry about spending their mana because if they press Mass Dispel and it costs like 20,000 mana, that's their entire resource bar that they spend to heal their friends. I don't need to worry about that because I'm a Shadow Priest. So as a Shadow Priest, my mana regenerates pretty quickly, but I spend Insanity to do my big damage. So just remember that you need to use your mana bar as a Shadow Priest in particular on the utility like Psychic Scream and Mass Dispel and Leap of Faith and Fade. Make sure you're using all these things because your mana will replenish very quickly, and it's not a resource that really matters to you. So it's basically free. You're getting free healing, and you're getting free utility out of these spells, which is an amazing, amazing thing. Here's the bird boss. Important things to remember on this boss is how to deal damage while moving, how to deal damage while dealing with mechanics. Very important. As always with a boss, get your dots up first, then throw Shadow Crash, and then throw Mind Games. You want to try and have Devouring Plague on the enemy whenever you're casting any spell, okay? Because it makes that thing do a lot more damage. Here's the first moment where I have to move here, and I need to do damage while moving. So first of all, I'm picking up this ball, which is really cool. There we go. I'm casting Mind Blast while I got in there, and then I moved after. This Deafening Screech comes out. You have to stop casting when Deafening Screech comes out, so make sure you've aimed yourself up accordingly. Don't be casting or you'll get silenced. Then the bird is going to turn and do this big, like, conal attack. Oh, I missed it earlier. Sorry. Let me just show it earlier. Is it right here? Oh, right here. I just want to show it really quickly. Here comes the conal attack. I have to move while this is coming out. Oh, my God. Oh, it's right here. So, I'm sorry, guys. I thought it was, like, way later. So, important to remember. Remember what your instant cast spells are when you are getting this overpowering gust that's happening, okay? So, remember, you have Shadow Red Death, you have Devouring Plague. I have a proc on Mind Spike right now. You can see right there. There's Mind Spike, there's Shadow Red Death, and I can press Devouring Plague. All 3 of those buttons are acceptable buttons to press while moving, and I need to move right now or I'm going to die. So don't drop damage just because you're moving. Keep pressing those instant cast spells so you can keep moving. Okay. Phase 2 of this fight, we're going to put the balls in. That's great. Phase 2 is going to be the wind comes out. Now, remember, when the wind comes out, these little balls with arrows on their heads, they come out as well. They will give you immunity to the pushback from the wind, and most importantly, a like 50% haste buff. It's crazy. What you want to do on this fight as a Shadow Priest is make sure that you've got your Dark Ascension and your Mindbender off cooldown when you get this buff. So I should have waited before I picked up this buff. I should have waited about 5 seconds or so before picking it up, then pick it up, and then I can pop all my cooldowns and go crazy. But as it stands, I picked it up and used my cooldowns about 10 seconds later. So I really should have waited like 5 to 10 seconds before getting it, because then I can get the full benefit of the buff while I'm doing the most damage in my cooldowns that I possibly can. Okay, so just a little tip here. When you get the wind bonus as a Shadow Priest, don't pop your cooldowns until, like, don't grab the wind buff until you're ready to pop your cooldowns. Very important. Okay? Otherwise, just help your team, throw the balls. He's going to get hit by the fire again. It gets really, really dicey here for me. I have to get some fancy feet right here. Move away from the tornadoes, move away from the fire. Now, you're thinking, like, how are you still doing damage? Well, I had a Mind Spike proc right there that just went off. Shadow Word Death just procced, and I'm in Execute, so I get the extra Shadow Word Death. So I just did a Devouring Plague. I did a Shadow Word Death. I did another Devouring Plague. I got another Mind Spike proc. So I can press that while moving. Once again, all these things you can press while moving. That is the name of the game on this fight and on many fights. How do I still do damage as a Shadow Priest while moving? This is a great example of kind of what you need to do. Things you need to be thinking about in your head. Okay?
My vault was okay.
Let's move on. I'm talking about my vault. Let's turn the volume down a bit. Let's go to this next pack. I don't think I care about anything in here. Excuse me. Let me skip ahead to 1140. One thing I do care about right here. Again, we're moving while dealing damage. You have to watch out for those puddles. Keep watching. What I want to look at here really quickly is how survivability works for Shadow Priest. And I've been so impressed with my ability to live through multiple situations. And in particular, Grievous is a great week for us. Remember to always press Power Word Shield whenever you're trying to transition anywhere. If you have to move for any reason at all, pop a Power Word Shield. Number 1, take Body and Soul, and you get 40% movement speed. Number 2, it's a 25k shield that you're putting on yourself. So, and number 3, if you have to move out of a mechanic anyway, just do it. You might as well just use that GCD. And you can see the health that everybody has. Look at everybody's health compared to mine. I'm really healthy right now. The Grievous was ticking down, but the Grievous did nothing to me because I had a shield. Everybody's dying right now from Grievous. I'm taking literally 0 damage. And the healer doesn't have to worry about me because I'm at full health again. It's just really, really kind of subtle there, but awesome stuff. Now, I had a Mind Devourer proc here, so I was like, please go. Watch our damage pop off here. This is crazy.
You,
Dark Ascension, Mindbender, Shadow Word Death. Look how much damage Shadow Word Death did right there. Dark Ascension, Mindbender. Here comes Shadow Word Death. I'm doing 300,000 damage right now. Boom. 5 for 35.
Damage. Watch the cleave here. Oh, man, the damage.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
The damage, baby.
Good pop off there. 100k. We got above 100k
like
for a second.
Almost perfect.
Now, again, 4 Grievous stacks or 4 bursting stacks on everybody. I should Mass Dispel this. No question. Always be Mass Dispelling. I was just very excited about my damage, but I need to stop doing that. Need to be Mass Dispelling more. Okay, more stuff in here. Let's get to this last section here. Oh yeah, I get put asleep because nobody kicked it. I didn't kick it either, so it's not their fault. But another pop off moment right here at the end. This is pretty cool. So I banked up some. This is another trick for you to do an AoE damage. I'm finishing off this pack right here. We're gonna bank some insanity. Okay.
Big pain and death damage there. Okay, we're banking insanity here.
So we're at 100 insanity. Again, 5 stacks of bursting, by the way. Could Mass Dispel, but I'm an idiot, and I keep forgetting to press it. So now we've banked up insanity. We have 100 insanity ready to go. So now we just Shadow Crash into Mind Seer, and we just go.
Big damage here, because we just start out like this, and then we go like this.
Dark Ascension into Mindbender. Okay. And we got a proc. Look at this.
It's going to be outrageous.
Here we go. Boom. 110k.
Yeah, over 100k there.
Now, we're not helping anybody with the CC, the monotonous lecture that just CC'd somebody for like 8 seconds. But, you know, we're doing damage.
100K and then 22 procs.
Yeah, that was pretty wild damage there. Look at the psychic link damage.
Oh, okay.
We pulled a couple more trash. Okay, here's Vexamus. How to deal damage as a Shadow Priest on Vexamus. How to avoid the mechanics, or actually absorb the mechanics is what I should say. Again, we're very well suited to this, okay? Because we have Shadow Word, Power Word Shield. I always say Shadow Word, Power Word Shield. Watch our pop-off damage here, though. Oh, sorry.
Oh my god, we're popping off. We are popping right off. 57K. We are popping right off. 60K.
We were popping off.
Popping right off, ladies and gentlemen.
We were popping pretty hard. Now, again, we're absorbing mechanics at the same time. Not a big deal.
Okay, we're not popping off anymore.
We could Mass Dispel right now and get rid of all 3 of these debuffs. This is another thing you can Mass Dispel. And again, I'm just forgetting about it right now. I'm too busy popping off. But again, that's
pop down?
Don't do what I'm doing right here. Use your Mass Dispel to help your team. Okay, we got to move while doing damage there. That's a really important sequence. I'm moving right now while doing damage. How do I do that? I have a Mind Spike proc, and I have Devouring Plague. I can do both of those. There's DP. There's Mind Spike. We kept doing damage while moving. Very important that you do that.
We're popping down a little bit, but we did pop pretty high there.
Here's an important moment defensively for Shadow Priest. Okay? Okay, so we have a circle on us that's going to do damage. We just absorbed a ball, which put a debuff on us.
I'm just going to disperse this, because we're all...
We got another ball and a puddle that we stepped in.
So getting a drop. Yeah, there we go. So we just dealt with that entire mechanic and took no damage. Priest is, like, actually invincible.
We literally took no damage there.
It's crazy, man. It's fucking crazy how invincible we are.
It's actually insane.
I just took 2 orbs and a puddle and walked through another puddle.
Yeah.
And didn't, like, took 0 damage.
Now watch this. This is the same example, but with no defenses.
I'm going to do it again, but without dispersion. You'll see the difference. There we go. Look at the difference. I'm almost dead.
We almost died. Now, I do Mass Dispel here. You can see it's useless, but look, we have a couple debuffs out, and we cleared them both.
There?
So
Mass Dispel is also just so...
I completely used it wrong there. But the point is, you can use your tools. And the other point is, use Dispersion. Use Power Word Shield. Use Fade. When you combine all those things together, you can take, like, literally no damage if you want to. It's amazing. You'll have moments where you just don't take damage. And you're, like, the tankiest person in the world. It's really, really cool. Once again, full Grievous goes off, and I don't Mass Dispel it. I don't want to look anymore. It's really, really bad. I'm very sad about it. Here, let's get to the last pull that I want to talk about. Really big pop-off pull. Watch this. This is pretty great here.
Go in the middle. Go in the middle. Go. There you go. You got it, big guy.
Okay, there goes my Shadow Crash. My cooldowns are coming. I'm going to channel Mind Seer because I have the time to do it now. Dark Ascension Mindbender. Here we go. Ready?
I feel like we're definitely going to pull more here.
Big damage here. 98k. 110, 115k. Here we get a huge Death Speaker. Not Death Speaker, but we get a huge Shadow Word Death. Remember to try and use Shadow Word Death when an enemy is in their 20% execute phase. Now they're in it right now. This Spectral Invoker, he is in the sweet spot. I can Shadow Word Death him, and it won't kill him, but he's in execute, so it does more damage, and it resets because it didn't kill him. Watch.
There we go. Double Shadow Word Death. Boom. Boom.
120k right now.
We're doing 120k.
And we don't Mass Dispel anybody. Oh my god.
We're alive. Everything's fine.
It's so bad. I need to Mass Dispel. I can't even look. I can't look.
Condos, now he only has shitty
I can't look, guys. It's so bad. I was stream mode. Okay, here's the final boss. What do we do on Doragosa? The only real important thing on Doragosa here is that she's going to pull you in at a certain moment. So you want to make sure that you get most of your damage out before she casts her big ability that's going to pull you into the center. So I get Halo out of the way. I get Mind Blast out of the way. Right as I get it out of the way, I think. Now, when she does this, I have 2 abilities right now I can cast while moving. Very, very important. While she pulls you in, you want to do damage while you're moving. So I do Devouring Plague into Mind Spike, and then I lose about 1 GCD's worth of damage there, and then I'm back to it. So try to optimize the amount of time, or the moments when you can't stand still and cast spells, when you're getting pulled in, when you have to move because there's a mechanic under your feet. Whatever the case might be, use your instant cast spells. We have tons of them. You have tons of them. You have instant cast Mind Blasts that can proc, instant cast Mind Spikes that can proc. You have Devouring Plague that can proc. You have Shadow Red Death that can proc. Those are very, very great buttons to all press. So remember, optimize your damage by pressing your buttons when it's not very optimal to do so. Okay, that's about the end of the dungeon. There, we end up killing her. I forget what our overall is. 34k maybe.
Come in.
47k. Never mind. That was a huge dungeon for me. 47k overall. Really, really solid for me.
Oh, it's not actually that great. Oh, it's just a held and offhand.
I thought it was a staff. Anyway, that's it for the dungeon. That's what I want to show you guys, how to deal with all the different bosses in Algeth'ar Academy, how to contribute as a priest. Very important to know how to contribute with your class. Number one, first and foremost, please use Mass Dispel this week in particular when we have Bursting and Grievous. It'll get rid of those Bursting stacks. Just use it for your team. Be the Shadow Priest that everybody loves. They're all talking about you. Did you see that guy? He Mass Dispelled like on cooldown. That guy's crazy. Use Mass Dispel, okay? Number two, use Fade all the time for damage reduction and to drop aggro. When you want to start a pack with a huge, big burst of like Shadow Crash Mind Seer damage, use Fade, or else all those enemies are going to be like, what the hell did he just do over there? Okay? So use Mass Dispel, use Fade, use your Leap of Faith if people need it. Very, very important. Use Vampiric Embrace to heal everybody, and make sure that you're using your instant cast spells when you're forced to move one direction or the other. Maintain your uptime on the boss by using those instant cast spells as best as you can. Okay, guys? That's it for me. Thank you so much again for watching. I love you all. Let me know what you think in those comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one.